Let's stay in the football lane, Corey. Let's go to our guy, Big Steve 022. Good morning, gents. Hope all is well. It's been a while, but I still listen every chance I get. Happy late anniversary, Mr. Clark.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Also extremely happy to hear things are going well for you and Abby Aslan. Thank you, Big Steve. Hope your boy's doing well too. I think he might be a young adult now at this point. We've been doing the show for so many years, Corey.
That's right, man. That's right.
A couple of weeks ago, there was a topic on ESPN. What are you doing watching ESPN, Big Steve-O?
Yeah, you need to be watching CBS Sports. CBS Sports Network.
A couple weeks ago on ESPN topic, who is the next face of the NBA? And got me thinking, who is the face of Florida State sports? Easy answer to me is Bobby Bowden, even Deion Sanders, maybe. Since those are probably the obvious choices, I was wondering who you all think is the face of the major FSU sports, men's, women's basketball, softball, baseball, football. With the landscape of college sports changing so often via the transfer portal, I don't believe anyone in recent memory will have a chance to be the face. But could I be wrong? This is a very good topic of conversation. Dare I say, Corey, I think it's going to be generating discussion, and it's going to be sparked by Cummins. If you would, Corey Clark. Get some, everybody. It's generating discussion.
I guess if you're listening to this on the podcast, you don't know what just happened.
Generating discussion. It's sparked by Cummins. Check out all the awesome things you can do with the own line of products. That includes the portable generators, the portable power stations, by going to CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. It's all one word. I should actually have this photo pulled up, but I don't. Dude, by the way, everybody, they're actually giving you a portable power station as part of the monthly gift bag giveaway. There's a photo of all the cool things they're giving you. I don't have it readily available. Maybe I'll have it in post-production. Post-production is a beautiful thing, Corey. You can fix all the ills of the world with post-production. Go to Cummins Lifestyle, everybody. All right, so that's a question, Corey. The face of Florida State sports. I don't want to go maybe too macro on this, but I do wonder if there is a college sports bubble, and not so much TV contracts, but just the amount of give a damn kids are going to have about college football the way that you and I did X amount of years ago. We don't have to date ourselves, but when it's going to get to the point that it's such a transient nature of the sport, coaches included, and the fact that tuition costs however much it costs right now and is going to continue to go up, you find yourself in a position where it's all right, I went to this school for 4 years. I had maybe 3 different quarterbacks the 4 years I was there and 2 different head coaches, and I've got all this debt. And I don't know if we're competing at the highest levels right now with our NIL. You might even start tuning this stuff out. So it feels like the concept of a face of your program, your sports athletic department is totally gone. And you're always going to be remembered as the Bobby Bowden program almost.
Yeah, and to the question, I would say Bobby Bowden. When people think of Florida State athletics, Bobby Bowden, I think, would be the first name that comes to people's mind. I don't want to get into the same discussion we just had about the national champion, who the 5 best coaches are, the top 5 coaches. But I would say, Bobby Bowden. It's going to be hard to move him off the list with this premise. If Big Steve is saying that Bobby Bowden is the guy for him, it's hard to move him off this list. I think it's impossible to move him off this list unless, I guess Saban knocked Bear Bryant off. So is that what it's going to take? Is Norvell going to have to be like Saban-esque to knock Bobby Bowden off the list? Because I think that's about the only way. Otherwise, I think in perpetuity, it's going to be Bobby Bowden. And a lot of it's because what Aslan was just saying, there's just the turnover, coaching turnover. Florida State got really lucky, man. Sue Simrau was here for 20 years. Leonard Hamilton, 23. Bobby Bowden, what was it, 40? 30, what was it? 33, 35. Mike Martin, 40. All your big sports, you've had coaches that have been here for decades. So I would say all those are the faces of those programs. But overall, I don't know who would be more important to Florida State athletics ever than Bobby Bowden. But if we're talking about right now, today, 2025, I mean, for better or worse, it's the head football coach.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's not the face of your program.
No.
To the second part of his question, which I don't have on the screen, but I read it out there, of course. I mean, when you think about, no one's going to unseat, I don't think, Charlie or Jameis. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Somebody could win a Heisman in a national championship, but I think the
Yeah.
only one that still might be kind of up for grabs would be baseball, right? If you're the guy that helps propel this team to a college, its first ever College World Series, like you might be able to be the guy that will be the face, at least the player face of the baseball program. Otherwise, like softball, I mean, women's basketball, men's hoops. I guess if you're that guy, you take Florida State to a Final Four, maybe you can uproot that. But otherwise, like football feels like just with the way that the sport is and what's been accomplished here, like those guys are pretty much set in stone. It's going to be nearly impossible to dethrone those guys. But
I also think that's just the nature. That's always kind of been the nature of college sports. I think it's the coaches that are the known commodities because of the trade. I got to be a fan of Chipper Jones for 16 years. Well, in college, you get them for 4. And then they move on. They become NFL players or NBA players or Major League Baseball players. So, but at a place like Florida State, you get to be a fan of Bobby Bowden's program for 3.5 decades. So of course he becomes the program, and that's kind of sports. Like I think if you think about Florida basketball, yeah, Noah and Horford and those guys were great. I think you think of Billy Donovan. And maybe football is different because they had 2 guys win national championships. Or Urban, I don't know I think you'd probably still say Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
But Urban Meyer had a highly successful run there. Oh, yeah, it's Florida. They'd say Tebow. I'm surprised they haven't renamed the university after him yet. But yeah, most places, it's going to be the head coach of whatever your most successful program is. Like UConn, the face of UConn athletics right now is, I guess you could say Gino Auriemma, or you'd say Dan Hurley. Right. Those are the guys. Everybody else it's the transactional nature that Aslan was talking about. They come and go. These head coaches stay there. They have multiple teams and they win multiple championships. They become the face. I wonder if Link won in Omaha. I still don't think you usurp 40 years of Mike Martin because of one championship in Omaha. Like these, Florida State's taken care of. If Luke Laux goes and makes 3 straight Final Fours, he becomes the face of Florida State basketball. But he's never going to pass Bobby Bowden. No. So I think Bobby Bowden's – you had it in the question, Steve, but Bobby Bowden's the answer.
What about the sports real quick, though, Corey? I mean, I can't imagine in the next 20 years anybody's going to – I mean, I guess you could join Jameis and Charlie and Winky. But is there a sport out there you think is most likely to possibly the most ripe to have a new face arise player-wise on the field that then becomes the face of that sport at Florida State?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Travis, you could say, was that guy, and that wasn't that long ago when it was at that position. I don't think if Tommy Castellanos gets invited to New York because he has such a great season, he's a Heisman candidate. Yeah, man, he becomes the face. Like he's not gonna be on the par with, or he's not gonna pass Charlie and Jameis or Chris, but he can join them. His name doesn't start with W though, so that's a bummer. Like I don't know why they don't just get portal guys with the last name that starts with W, because all they do is win Heisman's around here, except for Drew Weatherford. We get it, but he still had an okay career. But yeah, so I think that the only sport I think that could happen. I mean, I guess it could happen in all of them, but football is the face, man. It's the face of the university. It's the face of the athletic department. It's the front door to the university. So if you're a big star for Florida State football, you're a big star, period. You're a big star, period. Jared Verse can't walk around College Town. He's a big deal. He's a big deal.
Thanks to Big Steve-O22 for the question. You'll get entered into the monthly drawing for a Cummins gift bag, which will include a portable power station. Can't believe it. Check out CumminsLifestyle. Join WarChant.com so you get involved in this segment so you can win cool things. Corey, deuces, please.